Hey, what's up guys, welcome back. It's your boy Mondo. On today's episode, this one actually hits pretty close because I got to see the before and after on this car. So beautiful piece. The first time it came in, I got it with just a chassis, so you guys can actually go see it on my Instagram. It was just a rolling chassis. It didn't have anything but the engine and trans and all that, but I never even got to drive it out of here because the diff and all that had no oil, so we couldn't drive it. But right now this car actually drove in and now has the body on it and everything. So little rundown, this is a 1941 Royal. Beautiful piece, and it is powered by a Chrysler, well, it's a DESOTO 330 engine, which is what Chrysler used to run back in the day apparently. I don't know much on it, but actually let's take a look under the hood. This is a badass build. So actually check it out. This right here is going to power the hood. Beautiful masterpiece. This guy knocked it out of the park with this one. So that's that, and check it out. Beautiful DeSoto. And he has a Hillborn injection system on it. So yes, it's ITBs, distributors still. So badass car. This one right here, I actually got it referred from the good guys over at Don's Hot Rod. No one in town wanted to mess with it because it's running a fast fuel injection system. It was a huge learning curve because first of all, I've never converted a distributor style, carb style to full-on port injection, individual throttle bodies, and still run the distributor with its own timing box. So it was a huge learning curve. We had to buy some aftermarket components. So we now have the MSD spark box, whatever you want to call it, to control timing based off of the fast standalone, I guess you would say it. But it's a beautiful machine. And yeah, it's automatic. It has a modern automatic transmission. So let's actually get it started for you guys. Let's hope it starts. He did mention cold start was a little rough. Well, look at that, right on point. So the problem is with these engines is, since we have individual throttle bodies, I don't really have an IAC valve, and because all the throttle bodies are run on their own. So when I don't have IAC, idle air control valve, it makes it really difficult to have a steady startup, because I either open the throttle body too much to make startup easy, and then once it warms up, it stays revved up high, or I close the throttle body down too much, and that will also cause us problem because it won't allow us to have a good cold start, because at that point the throttle body is too close, there's no choke on it, so it makes it really hard to get that amount of air to keep the engine running when it's nice and cold. So right now I'm gonna screw around with that, figure out what's the best way to get it to idle properly on cold startup without dying, and to drive decently as well once it's warmed up. So we'll stay tuned, guys. guys, so after messing with it all day, I think we got the max out of it. So let's check it out. As always, solid line is the first pull. This one was actually really bad. We were running extremely lean, like this thing had no fuel at all. So good thing I lowered timing because it could have been catastrophic. So yeah, 133, 136, and then when it dropped down to 118 top end, so it was extremely out of fuel. Once we adjusted it to a 12.6 AFR, we picked up around 247 foot-pounds, and we maxed out at around 188. So obviously we're losing some through the weather correction, not the weather correction factor, the smoothing factor, but the dyno was showing around, let's look it up, it was around 200. So I don't know enough of these engines. This one was 186 on the last pull. I do not know enough on these engines to feel comfortable pushing it to its max. This was around 20 degrees around max timing. That was what I saw gave me the most. I tried 26 and it just completely dropped in power. So we're gonna leave it at that. But yeah, like I said, this is through unknown transmission. I can't remember what transmission's in it. I also can't remember what converter's in it. So it is auto. So overall, for all I know, we also have the wrong car. Unfortunately, Mustang only goes up to 1973. That's as old as it goes. So with something like that, this car is from the 41s, so there's just way too many variables to give an accurate horsepower reading, and I hate to be trying like half-assing it because I don't have the right data. I've called Mustang, they told me just get a car that's gonna be similar to it, so I try to make some adjustments for it, and I'm using the data to a 73 New Yorker, I believe. That's in the Chryslers. The only difference is the aerodynamics on it is way different. So I'm pretty sure that this engine is putting out a lot more horsepower than what we're getting, but because it sounds amazing, it just sounds clean. And when I test drove it earlier, it was just so peppy. So like I said, the dyno's just for tuning purposes. We were dialing AFR, we're dialing in a few other things. So it's time to close this up, so let's check it out. And that wraps up this tune. I'm gonna go test drive it. This is an extremely rare car, so unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to do any recording of me test driving it because it's a huge liability and we don't need any of that right now. So I'm gonna test drive it, make sure it's driving smooth, make sure it's not bucking, make sure it's not dying, because we want to deliver this as clean as we can. I did get a hold of Fast. They did tell me that it is an extremely difficult setup to dial in because of the ITVs. There's not much movement in the TPS sensor, so it jumps a lot at low positions. I've tried to clean that up as much as I could and it's just not happy. So unfortunately I wasn't able to clean up drivability as much as possible, as much as I would have liked to. Not as much as possible because I spent majority of the day cleaning that up. But yeah, so I got a hold of Fast. They told me this is an extremely difficult setup. They do not recommend it, but this is what the customer wanted, and the customer's always right for the most part. So this will conclude today's video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate all the support. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and please leave a comment. Let us know what you guys liked, what you guys thought of this car, and I will see you next week.